Hello, this is MBA Bites, a series about things you learn in business school and things you don't. I am Vin Bittencourt, and today I want to show you how the mastery of 5 simple competencies can turn you into a great leader and a world-class professional, even if you're starting out right now or you may not see yourself as a leader yet. In our last episode of MBA Bites, we showed you how the power of thinking and acting like a leader can transform your career. How a leadership mindset has become a basic ingredient for career advancement. Among the top reasons, we cited the fact that the best organizations today hire fresh college graduates as leaders. They expect to bring people who can manage resources, who can manage projects independently, way before they'll get to manage other people. In other words, the best companies in the fastest growing industries are hiring leaders at base level. A leadership mindset has become a minimum to compete. The other reason is that leadership roles are the real conductor for bigger and better opportunities. They give you exclusive access to people and superior projects in any organization, which in the end is the main ticket for career acceleration. So now let's talk about the 5 competencies of great leaders and world-class professionals. The first competency is self-awareness. Only people who know a lot about themselves can actually find meaning in the things they do in life. Nobody in the top 10% of any job or activity gets there without knowing a great deal about their talents, their passions, their skills, their strengths, their values, right? Every choice they make needs to take these factors into consideration. It's not money, it's not convenience, or whatever short-term incentive. It's actually fit, vision, and long-term purpose. So in the case of a world-class professional or a great leader, whatever they do needs to be a reflection of who they are. Professional life today is about meaning. To operate at your best, you have to connect with a higher purpose. It's important that you know exactly what kind of contributions you want to make. If the job that you have, for example, does not tap into your inner creativity, your talents, your skills, your personality, it's time to get a new one. Either because the job is a poor fit for who you are, but mostly because the job is probably meaningless to the point it won't get you anywhere. It doesn't come with experiential learning. It doesn't give you the possibility to learn new things, to grow, to build a portfolio or a winning track record or something. At the beginning of your career, it's actually normal or expected not to know exactly who you are or where you stand in terms of self-awareness. But at some point, you have to experiment with enough activities to figure out where your talents are. If you're really cut out for the jobs and activities that you think you are. Sometimes having the talent for something is not enough. You also must have the vocation, the temperament, and the personality for that activity. So let's say you have a propensity for numbers, right, for analytical work, but maybe working in finance is not really a thing for you. You don't like the environment of a banking or financial institution. You don't like selling. You don't like handling the pressure, with dealing with difficult clients. So what else can you do with that talent? Can you become a researcher, a professor, or a consultant? There are different ways you can get to use those talents. But in the end, not everything we're good at actually turns into a professional activity, right? It doesn't have to be that way. But the only way to find out is to have self-awareness, because you know exactly who you are, what motivates you to do great work. But more importantly, what kind of contributions, what kind of impact that you want to make, right? That's crucial. So a self-aware person actually is really good at detecting those things and just, managing the environment to make sure he operates at his best all the time. The second competency of great leaders and world-class professionals is self-management. Self-management has a first element that's emotional. So knowing and controlling your impulses, your negative thoughts, your negative reactions, your negative emotions. People that are good at self-management, they always project a positive attitude, an attitude of trust and respect. They are the voice of reason. And for that reason, they create environments of trust and fairness and respect. And those are essential conditions for high-performing teams to exist. So when you operate with self-management, you just bring forward the best version of yourself. You control your reactions. You always frame things under a positive light. Even when you're criticizing or providing, assessment of something, you always try to frame things with empathy, with respect, with self-control. And again, that doesn't mean you're manipulating things or just trying to, be something you're not. On the contrary, that means being honest, operating with integrity, because you just bring the best version of yourself. But to be good at self-awareness, you have to be good at controlling and evaluating your behaviors, right? So maybe, how can I do better next time? How can I say this differently? next time I providing feedback, what else can I do to make sure I make that person feel special, feel welcome, as opposed to criticize and downplay for their efforts. So self-management, it's about self-control. It's about controlling impulses, managing your behavior. Because in the end, more than what you said and what you did, people remember how you said it and how you act. So a second element of self-management is discipline, right? Punctuality, honor, integrity, holding yourself accountable for commitments, operating with high standards, getting work done, even if you don't feel as motivated, as engaged, maybe you're on a bad day or something, but you get the work done, you get the work complete. You find the energy, you find the drive to finish, to deliver, to help. So that's probably when you get to see self-management as a competency, as one of the things that really separates average performance from great performance, or average leaders from great leaders. The third competency of world-class professionals and great leaders is inner drive. That's the capacity to operate with long-term goals and vision. You just have the motivation to do bigger and better, right? Remember the 3 must-haves of career acceleration: the right company, the right boss, and the right project. So that gives you fit. So once you find fit, you find purpose. And then you just excel at things, right? You always challenge the status quo. You always try to bring transformations and innovate, create better things. You become the master of your trade. You just get, the ins and outs of your trade. You become really good at, coaching and mentoring, becoming a reference on something. So what separates world-class professionals from average professionals, and by the same extent, average leaders from great leaders, is the inner drive. They find the fit and the motivation to work towards something larger, like bigger than themselves. So that gives them a reason to wake up every day, and get to work and do well, right? So just being average or good enough just doesn't fit anymore. You just want to excel. You want to beat the goal. You want to raise the bar. You want to, keep pushing forward and forward. So inner drive is definitely a competency, among all great leaders and world-class professionals. And until you fine-tune your mindset to operate like that, the results you get will be probably average or mediocre at best. The fourth competency is tough empathy. No leader thrives without having followers. So one of the commitments of cutting-edge organizations today is to attract, retain, and develop diverse talent. When leaders start embracing different perspectives, different views, they're actually a step closer from effectively managing cross-cultural teams, right? A staples of the global network economy today. Tough empathy also means giving people what they need, not just what they want. Leaders must push boundaries and stretch people for their own good. Too much time and energy is spent trying to be liked. Real leaders instead focus on being trusted and respected. The added benefit of tough empathy is the fact that you communicate to others that you operate by high standards, that you care about the tasks, that you care about the organization, but more importantly, that you care about your team, that you care about your people. The fifth competency is political awareness. To be effective, you have to understand the dynamics and who's who in your organization. You cannot be oblivious to what's happening outside the boundaries of your team. So some of the things to keep in mind: who are the sources of power, who's responsible for what, competing projects and initiatives in the organization. At some level, you have to operate by the drumbeat to make sure your efforts are kind of, in sync with the overall strategy. So important things to do, what to complete first, some of the items that are keeping senior management restless, keeping them busy. Without political awareness, it becomes impossible to build relationships, to negotiate, to compromise, to connect. If there's something that all great leaders and world-class professionals have in common, is that they excel in people and political skills. And that is because organizations are emotional units. So having political awareness is key to survive. You gotta make time, regardless of how busy you are, you gotta make time to socialize, to talk, to connect with people outside your perimeter. Finding ways to get introduced to new line managers, to build new relationships, maybe joining committees, volunteering, participating in overall company activities. That becomes really key, really important for you to build your brand, but also to connect with other leaders and get familiar with other lines of thinking, getting ideas, getting information. So it helps in so many different levels. So people with political awareness have great relationships inside and outside their teams. And they usually get access to bigger and better information. So that makes them more productive and actually, they experience faster career acceleration because of that capacity, because of having the competency of political and social awareness. In the end, you can be sure of one thing. When you master these 5 competencies, you start operating on a whole different level, way beyond the reach of any regular professional. You're just a lot closer from supporting or even building high-performing teams. And being a professional of excellence requires dedication and effort, yes, but it also comes with more rewards and better experiences. Other ways to build solid, high-performing teams: build and sustain trust. Lead by example. Share your goals and explain to people what you're working towards. Form a team of complementary skills with talents around your weaknesses. Strike the balance between being too aggressive and too soft, right? If you're too aggressive, you may lose support, but if you're too soft, you may lose on results. Be humble, know how to operate with gray, with ambiguity. Learn how to take calculated risks. Support people at the top and help them succeed. Managing the expectations of your superiors is probably one of the most important things, because senior leadership holds the key to the project pipeline. They have the power to give you the platforms to shine. You got to keep them happy so they keep sending you good stuff. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of MBA Bites, a series about things you learn in business school and things you don't. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our insights on money, business, career. I am Vin Bittencourt, and I see you next time.